Welcome again to Joe Stonner Boxing. Bit of news in about Josh Taylor, who's sort of a little bit in no man's land as far as his career is concerned. He's 34 now, former undisputed 140-pound champ. Was absolutely flying when he became undisputed champion. But that seems like almost a lifetime ago. It was it was only 3 fights ago. It was in 2021 when he beat Jose Carlos Ramirez to win the final belt. And then he had his next 3 fights. As far as I'm concerned, he's lost them all. In fact, he's only officially lost 2. He got an absolutely scandalous decision over Jack Catterall in 2022. That was in February, so it's 3 years ago. Unbelievable, unfathomable cards, absolute disgrace. There's no way on God's green earth he won that fight, but he got a split decision despite being floored and completely outboxed and beaten up. He then lost to Teofimo Lopez when he vacated 3 of his belts. He still had the WBO belt left. Lost to Lopez. Started quite well in that fight, but clearly lost it. A couple of cards had it close, 115, 113. Then he fought, that was in 2023. Then his only fight last year was a rematch with Catterall, where finally justice was served, although, you know, Catterall should have been an undisputed 140-pound champ because he clearly won that first fight with Josh Taylor, but unfortunately 2 of the judges were, you know, blinder than Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, and the 3 blind mice put together. But that's, I've been on many a rant about that one. But anyway, now Josh has been handed a lifeline because he's 34 years old and he's signed with Queensbury, none other than Queensbury. And he's also going to be fighting now at 147. Now, a lot of people say he should have moved up to 147 a long, long time ago. You know, I mean, I think he probably did stay at 140 for too long. I don't know. Obviously, I don't have the inside information. I'm not part of his part of his team or anything. But he is looking to campaign at 147. And in fact, his first fight for Queensbury will be on May the 17th, and it will be against none other than Ekow Essuman, who's a pretty decent British level fighter. Good fighter. This ain't a bad little tussle. Good way of dipping your toes in the 147-pound waters. Now, Josh, of course, was trained by Shane McGuigan. He left the McGuigans. I think there was a little bit of a cloud over the parting of the waves. McGuigans do have a few. They have banged heads with a few people, haven't they? I don't know. Well, I'm not going to go into that. That's probably a video for another time, actually. But one thanks to Carl Frampton and Chantel Cameron as well. Now, Essuman, I think his last fight was against Ben Vaughan, who at the time was undefeated. So that's not a bad little win for Essuman. But he's never really suggested that he would be anything other than, shall we say, possibly European level. He's not a bad fighter at all. But when you consider that Josh is a former undisputed champion, I believe the only British fighter in the so-called 4-belt era, so he picked up all 4 belts. It's quite an achievement, especially when you consider that he hasn't had many fights at all. He's only had 21 fights, 13 KOs in his 19 wins. The 2 back-to-back defeats were on points. He's a southpaw. He's 5'10". He really did look fantastic, especially from very early on in his career when he was stopping Dave Ryan in 5 rounds for the Commonwealth belt. That was a great win for a guy who'd only had a handful of fights. And then, of course, he beat Ahara Davies. That was a good win. Davies at the time was undefeated in 15. Josh floored him, knocked him out in 7. He stopped Miguel Vasquez when Vasquez had something left and was very, very difficult to hold. Very difficult. He beat Victor Postel on points. He's got wins over Ivan Baranchik. Regis Prograis, his first one to beat Baranchik and Prograis. And I think Postel only had one defeat, and he also beat Ryan Martin, who at the time was undefeated as well. So, and then he knocked out a Japanese fighter. I can't remember his name. That in one round, he was undefeated, and then he fought Juan Carlos Ramirez, who was undefeated, and beat him. So he was looking like one of the best fighters on the planet, and then it all just unravelled. Now, there have been rumours that Josh does like a drink, if you know what I mean, and wasn't living the life outside the ring. That happens sometimes because when you reach the summit, especially if you do it very, very quickly, some fighters are like, I've done it. Do I need to do any more? Not really. No, I've done it. I've achieved it. Why carry on? Isn't it just am I just repeating myself? So probably either the weight had something to do with it in that first Catterall fight, or he just wasn't motivated. I don't know. Maybe he took Catterall lightly, because Catterall was undefeated in 26. I mean, when you consider the amount of undefeated fighters this guy has faced, it's unbelievable, really. In a row. I mean, what was it, 6 in a row or something like that? 6, 7, 8 in a row. Yeah, very, very good fighter, Josh Taylor. Is he the best British fighter ever? The best Scottish fighter ever? Well, a lot of people will say Ken Buchanan, with good cause, because he was brilliant. But Josh at his best was a hell of a fighter. Whether he's got anything left, whether he'll be revitalised at 147, I don't know. There's no doubt signing with Queensbury is going to get him to a place. He's going to get him opportunities anyway. But whether he can, I don't know, whether he can win a belt at 147, I suppose, if you guide him right, maybe, and he does have something left. I don't know. It remains to be seen. Or do you think that maybe Uncle Frank is setting him up for, fodder for other fighters? I mean, don't forget Eddie's got, Conor Benn is busy making money out of fighting Chris Eubank Jr. But he's also got Boots Ennis, still wants to stay at 147. There are options. But let me know what you think. Do you think that Josh Taylor has anything left? Do you think that going to 147 will revitalise his career? Signing with Queensbury will revitalise his career? Let me know what you think. Please let me know. Comments below. And thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the like button. And do all that good stuff. Spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Much appreciated as always. And thank you very much. Bye for now.